since his wife never wanted to have children. On her birthday, her husband decided to let her experience what it felt like to be a mother ahead of time.
1, 2, 3, go. Happy birthday.
What? God, they're adorable!
His wife was instantly charmed by these puppies and excitedly crouched down to pet them. But then, she noticed one particular puppy that was especially special. It stayed by her side, refusing to leave, as if it had already chosen her as its owner. So she picked up the puppy and asked the price. The owner said the other puppies were $300 each, but this one was on sale for only $200. The couple bought it without hesitation. But little did they know, you get what you pay for. After seeing his wife off on her business trip, John went home alone with the dog. But shortly after driving off, the puppy started acting restless. It kept scratching at the seat. With no other choice, John turned on some music to distract the puppy. The little guy was indeed drawn to the melody and gradually calmed down. Watching this, John had a sudden inspiration. He decided to name the puppy after the songwriter of that piece.
You like Bob Marley? Marley? You like that?
And so, Marley became the name that would stay with this dog for life. When John got home, he heard that the neighbors had been robbed. A hint of relief crossed his mind. At least now they had Marley to guard the house. But that sense of security didn't last long before Marley shattered it completely. The dog food accidentally spilled. John turned to get a cleaning tool, but when he turned back, he realized it wasn't necessary. More than half of the food was already gone. Late that night, John tried to settle Marley in a cardboard box, but the puppy's howling kept him awake. Helpless, John gave in and brought Marley into the bedroom. Half asleep, a wet licking sensation woke him up. The moment he opened his eyes, John was stunned by what he saw. The once intact bed had been torn to shreds, and the whole room was a complete mess. With no other choice, John locked Marley in the garage. But when he picked up his wife and came home, he discovered that in just the 1 hour he'd been gone, Marley had also turned the garage upside down.
That's one little dog did that.
However, beyond their initial shock, the couple didn't blame Marley. They just thought he was being naughty and would grow out of it. And it was precisely their leniency that fully unleashed the puppy's little devil side. As time passed, Marley grew into a big dog. Jenny could no longer hold him back by sheer strength. The couple decided to send Marley to obedience school, but the moment the trainer took the leash, Marley bolted and broke free. Trying to save face, the trainer used a whistle to get Marley's attention. But the next second, Marley pounced and knocked the trainer to the ground. Unsurprisingly, Marley was expelled. The trainer blamed Marley's behavior on him being in heat, which made Jenny determined to have Marley neutered. On the way to the vet, Marley didn't settle down either. He stuck his head out the window, facing the wind, and suddenly tried to jump out of the car. Luckily, John was quick. He grabbed Marley's hind legs and held on tight. Startled by the sudden commotion, Jenny slowed down the car, planning to pull over. But this stop caused a traffic jam. The driver behind them joked,
Get a leash!
Oh, shut up!
Hey, he's losing his balls. Cut him some slack.
Later, remembering this amusing experience, John wrote it down and submitted it to his editor. To his surprise, this casual piece of writing was well received by his boss. John was made a columnist. His editor even asked him to keep writing about his daily life with Marley, and Marley didn't let John down. Every day, new adventures unfolded between them, swimming together in the water, playing fetch, and all the little moments John poured into his column. With Marley by his side, John and Jenny spent a wonderful time together. Though each day brought its own chaos, that was precisely the joy of life. Watching his wife and Marley interact warmly at home, John felt an immense happiness. Soon after, Jenny became pregnant. One day, John gave Jenny a necklace. Just as the two were basking in their happiness, they turned around to find that the necklace had vanished from the table. Their smiles froze instantly. They frantically searched everywhere. Just then, Jenny noticed the necklace in Marley's mouth. To keep Marley from swallowing it, the couple tiptoed closer. But just as Jenny reached for it, John accidentally bumped into a chair. And so, the two of them and the dog chased each other around the room. By the time they caught Marley and pried his mouth open, the necklace had already been swallowed. The next morning, John pinned his hopes on Marley's stool. Luckily, the necklace was eventually recovered. Jenny didn't mind at all. She even wore that necklace to her prenatal checkup. But during the examination, the doctor's expression suddenly grew grave. After repeated confirmation, the doctor gave them the devastating news. The baby no longer had a heartbeat. Both of them were devastated by the loss. Marley seemed to sense Jenny's sorrow. He was no longer as mischievous as before. Instead, he gently lay on Jenny's leg, quietly comforting her. To help Jenny move past the grief, John decided to take her on a trip. Before leaving, they hired a dog sitter for Marley. Without his owners around, Marley immediately reverted to his wild ways. Everything the couple had forbidden Marley to do, he did it all. The dog sitter was helpless. By the time John and Jenny returned, the sitter couldn't wait to get out of there. Thankfully, after the trip, Jenny became pregnant again. The couple was overjoyed by the wonderful news. Not long after, Marley suddenly grew restless in the middle of the night. He went to Jenny's bedside and stared at her, refusing to sleep. It was as if he had sensed that the baby was about to be born. John hurried to pack their things. This time, Marley was surprisingly well behaved. He even helped John tear down a cardboard box. That night, he didn't destroy anything. He just played with the bone John had given him. The baby was born safely. When they came home, they solemnly introduced the newest member of the family to Marley. With the new addition, Marley changed his old ways. He stayed close to the baby's side, taking on the responsibility of protecting him. One night, Marley heard a cry outside the house. He immediately ran to the door. John quickly grabbed him and rushed outside. Guided by Marley, John found their neighbor, a young girl who had been stabbed by a robber. He comforted her, while Marley quietly stood guard beside them. After this incident, John thought about moving. He had to consider the safety of his entire family. At first, he had hoped Marley would be a good watchdog, but now, Marley had already become like family. He would never let him in danger. That day, he went to see a house. To his surprise, Marley ran straight into the pool. Clearly, he loved it there. When he got home, John told Jenny about his idea, but Jenny looked troubled. The house they liked was expensive, and they couldn't afford it with their savings. Besides, she was already pregnant with their second child. Every penny had to be carefully budgeted. Fortunately, John's boss soon gave him an opportunity. He wanted John to turn his weekly column into a daily one. That would double his salary. This sudden opportunity made their dream feel within reach. Soon after, the family moved into their new home, full of hope and expectation. Jenny also decided to quit her job and become a full-time mother. But this was much more exhausting than she had imagined. Not only did she have to take care of 2 young children, she also had to deal with the energetic Marley. The daily grind and fatigue slowly drained her energy and patience. What finally broke Jenny was an afternoon. After exhausting herself to get both kids to sleep, she had just lain down on the sofa to catch her breath, when a noise outside made Marley start barking wildly. The piercing barks instantly woke both children. Just as Jenny managed to calm the baby, Marley accidentally bumped into the older one in the chaos. Just then, John came home, grinning and greeting Marley. Jenny took out her frustration on John, bluntly saying that Marley was a bad dog, and telling him to get rid of it immediately. This only added fuel to John's fire after a long day at work.
And I'm just a husband. You gonna get rid of me when I misbehave?
I thought about it.
Oh, well, that makes 2 of us.
The truth was, both of them were working hard for the family. They just never stopped to consider how tired the other was. The argument was never really about Marley. It was about 2 exhausted people, who thought the other should just understand. But neither had the energy to be the first to say, "I need you." After calmed down, John said he would find a new home for Marley. Hearing this, Jenny felt guilty. She apologized and said she had been too impulsive. Marley's home was here. When life presented conflicts, the family should solve them together, not blame each other. And so, they made up. One day, the family was playing in the pool. Just then, John received a job offer. It was from a top-tier newspaper company. They wanted him to work there as a reporter, but John's career was stable now. He didn't want to put his family at risk. Back in the pool, Jenny learned that John had turned down the offer. She understood her husband's concerns and didn't say much, but becoming a reporter had always been his dream. Facing this rare opportunity, John couldn't help but waver, so much so that it began to affect his work. His boss noticed and decided to give John a long vacation. That night, he came home with a heavy heart. The moment he turned on the light, it turned out to be John's birthday. Jenny had secretly prepared a surprise party. Amid the laughter and joy of his family, John blew out the candles with his children. After the crowd dispersed and the noise faded into calm, John sat alone by the pool, sharing cake with Marley. Jenny saw right through the worry hidden in John's eyes, and walked over to share her thoughts.
Are you ready for your birthday present?
What's that?
That was my blessing. To take that job in Philadelphia.
With Jenny's unconditional support, John made up his mind to take the reporter job in Philadelphia. The family moved into a farmhouse. In winter, it snowed there. Marley was still mischievous, but he especially loved playing with the children in the snow. He would even sneak into their beds to sleep. Everyone wished the good times could last forever, but no one could escape the passage of time. Marley witnessed the growth of his 3 young masters. He was no longer the little devil he used to be. Now, even climbing the stairs took all his strength. The naive son thought Marley was just tired, but John knew that he was just too old. One night, Marley did something unusual. He left the house. John and Jenny searched for him in the pouring rain, but Marley was nowhere to be found. Not wanting to worry the 3 children, Jenny returned home early. She didn't want to discuss death with them, so quickly put the children to bed. Outside, John finally found Marley under a tree. He took Marley to the vet. After an examination, the vet told him that Marley's stomach had twisted because he ate too quickly. Given his current condition, it was unlikely he would survive the night. Even if he did, this condition was very prone to relapse, and at Marley's age, if it came back, he might not survive the surgery. Hearing this, John's heart felt like it had been hit by something heavy. He couldn't accept it, but deep down, John held onto a sliver of hope. He refused to give up on Marley. When he got home, he didn't dare tell his wife the truth. He just said casually that Marley was staying at the vet for observation, and that the doctor was confident. Jenny didn't say much. She just brought out all the columns her husband had written over the years. They recorded everything about Marley, also recorded their lives together. Perhaps the couple moved heaven. Marley actually recovered. Life went on as usual. John still took Marley for walks, only now he had to slow down, to wait for the dog he used to not be able to catch up with. Marley also grew strangely danger. He lost his former vitality and would lie around all day. One day at work, John got a call from Jenny. She said Marley was lying motionless in the shade. John rushed home without a moment's delay. Seeing Marley's condition, he had no choice but to take him back to the vet. Before they left, the three children each hugged Marley. He was the companion who had grown up with them. None of them wanted to lose him. John put Marley in the back of the car. As they said goodbye, Jenny held Marley and kissed him again and again, tears streaming uncontrollably down her face. After more than a decade of companionship, Marley had long become an irreplaceable member of the family. After the examination, the vet said there was nothing more they could do. John looked at Marley, lying weakly on the bed, struggling in pain. His heart ached. He couldn't bear to watch his companion of so many years suffer in his final moments. Fighting back tears, he made the difficult decision to put Marley to sleep. Jenny and the children watched videos of Marley over and over again. At this moment, Marley was no longer just a dog. He was a family member who had accompanied the children through their childhood, a loved one who had stayed with them for years. Those moments of trouble and joy were woven together into the fabric of their memories of home.
Remember how we were always saying what a pain you were? You're the world's worst dog. Don't believe it. Don't believe it even for a minute. Because you knew we couldn't find a better dog. Love you so much.
As the medication was injected, Marley slowly closed his eyes. The family buried Marley in the yard. Each of them wrote him a letter, saying their prayers for him. Finally, Jenny took off her necklace, the one Marley had once swallowed, and also the only thing he had ever wanted but never received. She placed it with him. With a heavy heart, John closed the gravestone. Though Marley was gone, the laughter and joy he left behind would remain the family's most precious memories.